90% are men in 2013, compared to 66% in the United States the same year. However, in the most elite law firm, women make up about half of these firms, even at senior level of partnership. Advocates, in addition to being professionals, are also officers of the courts and play a vital role in the administration of justice. And today, after this COVID-19 pandemic, we have to see what is the condition of advocate. As you all know, all the courts are almost either not doing any physical work, they are doing the virtual courts, holding the virtual courts, but few courts have started the physically, but with the lockdown on and off, those courts are also in the same condition and they have no other option to go for virtual hearing or virtual filing of the urgent matters. So to discuss with the things, all these about the legality and about the condition of advocates, we have a very good panel today, legal luminaries, and I would like to start, as we say, the ladies first. So I will start with my first guest, Advocate Bani Chibbar Mahajan. Advocate Bani Chibbar Mahajan is graduated from the Army Institute of Law in the year 2016 and has been an active member of the legal profession ever since. Currently practicing in the Punjab and Haryana High Court, Chandigarh. She has conducted civil as well as criminal law matters ranging from constitutional law, service law, matrimonial law, contempt law, property law, and contract law. She also has experience in handling matters in the Real Estate Regulatory Authority, Punjab and Central Administrative Tribunal, Chandigarh. With a keen interest in criminal law, she has also acquired the knowledge of intricate concepts of civil law while working in the office of Mr. B.R. Mahajan, a distinguished senior advocate and the Advocate General, Haryana. Welcome, Ms. Bani Chibbar Mahajan, to our show.
Good morning.
Please unmute yourself. Ms. Bani Chibbar Mahajan, today you know that because of the COVID-19, the working of all the courts, almost all the courts, are standstill, or if they are working with a very, very less capacity. In April, there were only 35,000 judgments were delivered, while the average was 13.5 lakhs in 1 month, the last year. So when this is the condition, how you think the COVID-19 impact on advocates? Ms. Bani Chibbar Mahajan, please.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to thank Mr. Goyal for making me a part of this esteemed panel and for including me in this discussion, which has affected all of the members of our profession very deeply. The first impact which I saw that affected our legal community was, which has been very evident, that was the physical closure of the courts and their digital opening. It was something which was unprecedented, which has never happened before in the profession. Before the COVID-19 pandemic, nobody would have thought that we would be relegated to a time when we would be appearing before the honorable benches from the safety of our homes to the comfort of our drawing rooms. So this was something which has been a totally new experience for all of our colleagues, whether young or old. The first thing that happened was that the courts had to shut down because courts, by their very nature, are public places. And public gatherings are unfortunately a big hazard to public health now. So that is why when the courts shut up, they could not, being temples of justice, they could not close their doors completely to the litigants. And they had to open digitally, perhaps as I see it, as a window of dispensing justice to the citizens. The first thing that I had to learn was how to coordinate with the court staff. We all had to learn how to get our matters listed before the honorable courts, how to pursue our matters in the digital form. And I would agree that it has been a challenging time for all of us because all of us were not adept at using technology, at using the apparatus of video conferencing and appearing before the courts. There has been it is still challenging because it is wrong to assume that all of us would have the necessary technology at our disposal. We would have the necessary tools to appear before the honorable courts. every member of our profession does not have comfortable spaces in their homes to appear before the honorable benches in a dignified manner. This has been a challenging area for which I think the honorable bar associations and even the district legal services authorities and the bar councils should take notice, so that the lawyers who are facing difficulties in appearing before the courts by lack of resources are not hampered in the practice of justice, and justice is dispensed. As Mr. Goyal very correctly mentioned, that the functioning of the courts has been restricted to a great extent. And this is a very natural outcome of the ongoing pandemic. And that is because the courts have very rightly weighed public health and considered it to be a more important consideration than the present dispensation of justice. I am a regular practitioner in the Punjab and Haryana High Court, and I remember just before the lockdown was imposed, being very anxious, considering the amount of people that are present in one courtroom. There is no space for social distancing in an ordinary day in a busy High Court. It is very important for the health of the advocates, for the judges, and for the litigants. It was very important at that time to put a stop to the functioning of the courts, because the courts, by their very nature, they leave no scope for the practicing of social distancing. But I would say, on the other hand, that certain tribunals which do not have as much workload, they can also continue to work at this time. For instance, the real estate regulatory authorities, they are very new in their inception. They've been established by the Act of 2016. I had the opportunity of appearing before the Real Estate Regulatory Authority, Punjab, quite recently, about 10-15 days ago. It was functioning at that time, but now even that authority has been shut down because the coronavirus cases in Chandigarh and in Punjab are increasing rapidly. So the courts have no choice at this point. At this point, you have to weigh the public health and keep it at a higher pedestal as compared to the present needs of dispensation of justice. Another thing that I would say, that it is also a time for the lawyers to make the most of the gift of time that has been given to us. Because the life of an ordinary litigating lawyer is generally so fast-paced that we do not get the time to delve deeper into our matters. It is very correct that many lawyers right now are worrying about where the next brief is going to come from. Where are we going to get more cases from? How are we going to meet our clients? But I would suggest, which I have also been practicing in my own life, that this is the time to focus on the briefs that we already have. This is the time to study our matters more deeply, go beyond questions that we would ordinarily put our mind to, study the concepts that are involved in each case, and then prepare our arguments. This is a very opportune moment to enhance our knowledge, to develop as better lawyers, and also to work on our health. It's no secret that majority of the lawyers who are reaching the age of 60 or crossing that, they generally have one or the other comorbidities, sadly. My own father and my father-in-law, they're both advocates. And both have somebody has BP, somebody has diabetes. It is a very sad state of affairs, because one of the major drawbacks of our profession is that we do not get enough time to focus on our health and on our well-being. Such are the exigencies of our profession. So I think we should focus on what we have right now. That is time. That is time to focus on our briefs. Argue the matters which we can argue at this time extremely well. Prepare the matters which are up for preparation. And focus on our health, become better lawyers, become better advocates and better members of the society. And as for the coronavirus pandemic, it is bound to subside at one point or the other. But we as a societies actually have always been resilient. The human civilizations have faced one or the other pandemic-like situations throughout history. So we have to have faith that this coronavirus pandemic will also subside with time. We will come out of this as a society and we will deal with it. But right now, what is most important for us is to be safe, and the courts are right in physically closing their doors to lawyers and litigants alike at this point.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mahajan, Advocate Mahajan, for saying that the courts are right for closing the physical appearance of the advocates and the clients. And you have also mentioned that this is an opportunity time given by the coronavirus, you can say, for increasing their own knowledge. They should, the lawyer should gain more knowledge by reading the things, and spend more time for their health, which is very, very important. As you have mentioned that your own father and your father-in-law both are above 60, and they are both are suffering from some diseases. So it means they are vulnerable. And because according to you, the advocates are not getting time for their own health, and which is very, very important. So I'm sure that this lesson everyone will learn after this COVID thing, that work is very important, but the health is also very important. Now I would like to go to our next panelist. She is Advocate Rachita Garg. Ms. Garg, she has worked with Ministry of Law and Justice on many important principal and subordinate legislations. She also worked with former acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court and with former Judge of Supreme Court of India. She has 5 years of experience in litigation. She is practicing in all courts and tribunals of Delhi, including Honorable Supreme Court of India. Welcome, Ms. Garg, Advocate Garg, to our show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goyal, for giving me the extreme pleasure, and good morning to the esteemed panelist of this further.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Advocate Garg. You have heard what Advocate Mahajan has mentioned. According to Advocate Mahajan, although there are few tribunals which can be opened because there are not so many litigants, or they are not that much crowded. But she also mentioned that the courts, like high courts or other courts where the crowd is there, they have to be shut down because of the COVID-19. And she said that this is the right time that especially for the young advocates, to increase their knowledge. And this is also right time for the senior advocates to give more time for their health. Now, we would like to know COVID-19 impact on advocates. Ms. Advocate Rachita Garg, please.
Thank you so much. I completely agree with Bani that, but I also believe that extraordinary situation needs extraordinary measures. So COVID-19 has drastically impacted on lawyers. It actually in two ways. Every situation has pros and cons, even the COVID-19 impact on lawyers as well. So it is positive as well as negative. So I would like to put up some points that how it has impacted more on lawyers. So first one is the economic impact, which has impacted drastically to every state of lawyer, whether it's a like medium firms or the high firms or senior lawyers or junior lawyers, irrespective of any stage, every lawyer has faced this. So basically, it's a reduce of salaries for the juniors, but it doesn't mean that seniors have not affected. They have affected very well, because being a retainer for the big companies, they have not got their bills clear, because their forte, and even each lawyer's forte is in the court. They are not going to court. They are not appearing before the honorable court. So they cannot even raise their bills. So that's how economically we have impacted drastically, irrespective whether it's a junior lawyer or a senior lawyer. So, the companies will be tested. This bedrock criteria laid by down the businesses as well. Like every other relationship, the ones built on mutual trust, perseverance, and resilience will survive the test of these hard times. So it's all about the bonding and the trust, the clients and the lawyers trust on each other, even the judiciary, the litigation trust with each other. So second, the impact is on the stress in the personal life. See, shutdown of the court is, I agree with Bani completely, but there's a stress. Like for that, even Bani has said that you can maintain your health and everything. Besides your physical health, you have to think about your mental health, which actually the economic impact has, created a lot of stress in the personal life when it comes to mental stage of a human being. So as we have seen, like every day I'm reading some news that the lawyer has committed suicide. Even 2 days back, a young lawyer from Delhi Bar Association has committed suicide because of the financial constraints in his family. And he was not able to meet his day-to-day expenses. So this is again a biggest impact, economic, and besides that, there's economic crunch in our country as well. I agree, but litigation has faced to the core. Then the third point I would like to share is about the pace and peace of advocates, which have been disrupted drastically. Earlier, like if we see go the pace, like the advocates, I feel like from this community, I believe that the advocates is having the most hectic schedules in any other profession. Like sometimes our day starts sometimes 6 in the morning, that I have to read the brief, I have to prepare it, I have to get ready, and then I have to go for the arguments in high court or in the Supreme Court. And like getting up, it's not only thing, and after that my day ends generally at 10 o'clock, sometimes 12, and sometimes it's 8 o'clock even. Sometimes I feel that my court I'll get free early today, but it's not like that. Sometimes it takes, like if the matter got adjourned or you come after the lunch time, it takes me 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours. I don't know anything about my timings. I'm always prepared that I have to be in action whenever the time comes, whether it's 6 in the morning or 10 in the night. So this pace has disrupted. This lockdown has given us the time that you sit at home, which is actually a very difficult task for any lawyer, for any litigating lawyer who is working from morning to dawn. It's very difficult. So, we are just gasping for breath and fighting for survival in this new crisis like that. Then the fourth thing is that because of this lockdown, we are adopting new lifestyles as well. Like we have started sleeping for longer hours. Earlier we never used to think about for our sleeps. We used to sleep 4 hours, 5 hours, but now we can sleep for 10 to 12 hours and doing nothing, watching Netflix or sometimes reading books or journals. We have no other work, just to adopt new lifestyle. And then slowly and gradually, when I have realized that this like this I cannot work further, like I have to be in disciplined life again. So I have started making my routine that I have to sleep at least by 12 and get up at least by 6, so that I can be in a routine once the lockdown will be over. See, we don't know how long this lockdown will go. So after some point of time, we have to be in that pace again. But if we'll just divert from our regular routine pace, it won't be possible for us to get back to the normal routine. We have to maintain that discipline in ourselves, in our mind at least. And actually that helps you to cope up with your mental stress as well. If you get up and do your work on a normal routine, that gives you the positive energy every day. Besides that, the pandemic has presented, both, and pandemic has given us both the challenges as well as the opportunity. As we all know, our courts and all are deals with the documents. We are having a lot of paperwork, documents and everything. The new lifestyle has put towards to adopting the new technologies, new modes of proceedings as well. Right. Earlier, our forte is like earlier, even the clients and litigants, everyone used to come to the court and making the passes, take entries, and going for the arguments. 10:30, we are there in the court, and the matter may be called up anytime. Now, because of virtual hearings, we have been given the specific timings by the court masters, like Delhi High Court, even the Supreme Court. They are even the other courts also are very friendly in this manner. They have created a lot of links. See, being the new generation, I can feel that you can. What about the senior lawyers? They are not that much techno savvy. Even if you ask me, I'm not that much techno savvy. I'm just working because our forte is on documents only. But you have to start working with the technology slowly and gradually. And now even the senior lawyers, they all are learning the new modes of technology, even for this webinar, like how to go ahead with the Zoom meeting and how to go for the virtual courts. So this is how. And there was always a quote that there's one more thing I would like to say. It's like the public should access the justice. Besides about the litigation, it's actually our duty that public should also access the justice. Earlier they used to come to the court and they were having the right to access justice, which is guaranteed actually under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. So this also again gives the judicial system an opportunity to find ways to ensure access to justice even without a physical courtroom, right? So we are having various platforms for the same. So like Indian Supreme Court has enjoyed a reputation as the world's most powerful and influential courts for even several decades. But yet the court has not maintained any public record of its own proceedings. See, being a lawyer, I'll just mention, I can tell about my client, or I can convey over the phone call that this has happened in your matter today. The matter has adjourned, or the judge was not sitting today, or there is some technical errors. But how they will get to know unless and until we record the proceedings of our courts to get the better justice, better access of justice to the public. So even in 2018, there was a case of Swapnil Tripathi versus Supreme Court of India, where the law student has filed this PIL in the court and said that that he cannot access the courtrooms. So even the then Chief Justice of India, that is Honorable Deepak Mishra and A.M. Khanilwalkar, has said that the life proceedings is a part of the right of access justice under Article 21. So further, even the publishing court's proceeding is an aspect of Article 129 as per the Supreme Court, in which the court has taken a view that the court of records and the journalists, young lawyers, even the civil society and academics will be benefited because of live streaming. So live streaming is actually in a pipeline. After the 2018, even the AG agreed with that. AG even said that, okay, even there should be a proper recommendation and the guidelines for the live streaming cases, except the matrimonial cases and the cases which is of the national security. We can exclude these kind of matters, but go ahead with the live streaming. Or even if we go for the other countries like US, even US has adopted for the telephonic communication, telephonic proceedings as well. Like we are going for the virtual hearing, they have adopted even the telephonic one. And even the China and even the other countries, they have come with a transcript of the proceedings, and which is there in the public domain, that any public can go to the just click on a website and can see what has done in that proper matter, even if you don't have a live recording of the same. You can just read the transcripts. So these are the extraordinary things we can think about it. And if I talk about the post-COVID, then it's the one basic thing I feel is to return to your normal lifestyle, which is the biggest problem for everybody. So like I have said, we should be disciplined within ourselves. We should not get deviated irrespective of any situation. See, tough situations are there, but tough people can cope up.
Tough people can cope up, says Advocate Rachita Garg, and she has given lots of situations and the problems which the advocates are facing. Number one, she said that because of the financial economic conditions, many of advocates who are not getting anything from the practice, and few of them has even committed the suicide. And she has mentioned about the 2 days before one of the Delhi Bar Council's member has committed suicide because of the financial condition. She also mentioned that there are lots of challenges. One of the challenges that the routine which they all are following from morning to night, they have to work sometimes from 6 a.m. to 12 o'clock in the night. And right now, because of this lockdown, they have to sit ideally, or few cases which they have to file, they need not to run from one court to another court. So their routine has been disturbed. And this is creating more problem for them rather enjoying. Like what Advocate Mahajan has mentioned, that this is the right opportunity to gain more wisdom or learn more. But what Advocate Garg says, that because of this, routine is disturbed, and the more sleeps and laziness, or according to her, it will be very difficult post-COVID to come back again in the same routine. Now we would like to go to the next panelist. He is Advocate Rizwan. Advocate Rizwan is a law graduate from Aligarh Muslim University. He started his career with Additional Standing Counsel, Government of NCT Delhi, Advocate on Record, Supreme Court of India. He is a seasoned counsel with diverse experience of over 8 years of experience before the Honorable Supreme Court of India, High Court of Delhi, and other forums. He is a panel counsel and government pleader appointed for the Delhi High Court to represent the government of Delhi. Welcome, Advocate Rizwan, to this show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goyal.
Advocate Rizwan, you have heard what Advocate Mahajan and Advocate Garg has mentioned. According to Advocate Mahajan, yes, there are lots of challenges, but she says this is the right time when the advocates, the junior advocates especially, should gain more knowledge by learning, and the senior advocates should concentrate on their health, which they have not given any importance till now because of the hectic schedule. And what Advocate Garg said, that it is not only the schedule, it's basically the problem is economic. And when the economic, because the advocates are facing lots of financial crunch, then there will be a mental tension, they will be in depression, and then they can even they are committing even suicide. And she also said that because the routine has totally disturbed, it is very difficult to come back in the same way. And one more suggestion which she has given, she said that how to convince the client, because earlier the client was used to be present in the court, he see everything in front of him what is happening, but today whatsoever the advocate is telling, because it's a virtual court, only that thing, how you will be convincing the client separate. And secondly, she mentioned that when in USA and other countries these courts are live streamed, why not in India, which according to her already the Supreme Court is has already passed some orders or this thing, but still that live streaming is not yet started. So now we would like to know the COVID-19 impact on advocates by Advocate Rizwan, please.
So thank you so much, Mr. Gold, for inviting me as a guest on this show. So there are in fact a few points I would like to mention. This is a no doubt, as two of my London friends have already stated, this is an unprecedented situation. But the entire world is facing this crisis. Apart from the financial implication, it has some social and mental implication also. Like you can take the example, like Ms. Garg had just said, one advocate who was a practicing lawyer of Rohini Bar Association, he has committed suicide. He was not the only one. In fact, in the last 3 or 4 days, 3 advocates from Delhi only, they have committed suicide. The 2 advocates from the Delhi High Court, the two ladies, and one from the Rohini Bar Association. So my point is this: there are very less chance that the court will start physical functioning in near future, because the interim order, I'm just particularly talking about Delhi. The interim order has already been extended till 31st of August. So there are very less chances that the court will open before 31st August. And it will go on. This virus is not going anywhere. As per the WHO, this virus, at least, we'll have to live with this virus at least for the next 2-3 years. So that means till 2022 or 2023, there will be, very less work. This is a major crisis facing by the entire world. Now you can take the example of, someone was saying yesterday that this is, in fact, we should take care of our lives, our health. We should, we should be more focused on our health, because in most of the courts, the practicing lawyers, the senior lawyers and the judges, they all are above 55 years or maybe 60 years of age, and they are vulnerable to these diseases. But my point is, this is severely affecting the lives of the advocates. As the rightly said by my learned friend Ms. Garg, this is, there are 90% of the advocates who are not tech savvy. They don't know anything about the technological things. They are facing a lot of problems. Even our Chief Justice of India, in one of the matter, he has said, even I'm not the tech savvy and I'm facing a lot of problems. The Chief Justice Bobde has said in one of the matters. And these even judges are not tech savvy. In our own High Court, when I appear before the Honorable High Court, even they are facing these sort of problems. They are not tech savvy. And as far as this financial aspect is concerned, it is very much there. Since 22nd of March 2020, this lockdown is continuing, and it's been 4 months. People are not getting money. They are not getting clients. Most of the advocates, they are in fact jobless. Earlier we used to get, take the example of bail matters. Earlier we used to get bail matters. We are not getting anything now, because most of the, the prisoners, they are on bail. Most of the under trials, they are on bail, automatic bail, because the government has released them as per the direction of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. They are either on parole or on bail, automatic bail. So these are the things which needs to be considered. And as Bar Council of India has also filed a petition before the Supreme Court of India, asking the Supreme Court of India to at least issue direction to the state government to arrange some financial assistance to the lawyers. These things are very critical. Why these three people have committed suicide just because of the financial distress they were facing, and it's not going anywhere. 90% of the advocates are jobless. Few of the advocates who are senior, they are getting matters. What about the rest? They are not getting anything. So my point is, we have to maintain the balance between the social, public, and personal life. It's severely affecting our, all the three things.
Okay, thank you, Advocate Rizwan, for giving your points. You have, according to you, it's affecting the social, public, and your personal life. And according to you, the advocates, 90% of advocates are jobless now. Only few advocates who are having the work. Otherwise, the other advocates are jobless. And you said that in last 3 days, three advocates in Delhi only committed suicide. And you also said that the advocates are not tech savvy, and you even said that the Chief Justice of India, he himself has said some in one of the case that I am also not tech savvy, and according to many of the judges in High Court also are not tech savvy. So when this is the situation, how the courts will function smoothly and deliver the judgments. And you also mentioned that according to the WHO, it may take 1 or 2 years more. So what is going to happen? So all those reservations and what you have raised are very valid, and definitely there must be some solution which we may come out during our course of discussion. Now I would like to go to our next panelist. Is Mr. Chidanand, are you there? Can you just switch on your video, please? No, I think Mr. Chidanand is not. Okay, so I would like to go to my next. Yes, Mr. Chidanand is there. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Chidanand. Mr. Advocate M. Chidanand Kidalia, he has completed his LLB in Udupi. He started practicing as advocate in the year 2003. He is attending courts at Undivided South Kanara district. He worked as Taluk president of Adhivikta Parishad. Presently, he is the president of Citizens Council Mangalore chapter. Welcome, Advocate Kedalia. You have heard before you the Advocate Mahajan, Advocate Garg, and Advocate Rizwan. They have raised their, they have mentioned about the opportunities, challenges, and the drawbacks of this COVID-19. Advocate Mahajan, according to her, there are lots of opportunities for the juniors to gain more knowledge, and for the senior advocates to concentrate on their health. According to Advocate Garg, this is a very, very tough time because of the economic conditions and the routine which has been disturbed. And she wanted that the court's proceeding should be live streamed. And according to Advocate Rizwan, even the Chief Justice of India is not tech savvy, and many of the High Court judges. So what is going to happen with litigations when we are talking about the virtual courts only nowadays because of the COVID-19? So now we would like to know impact of COVID-19 impact on advocates. Advocate Mr. M. Chidanand Kidalia, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
First of all, I thank you for giving an opportunity to join in the debate. As has been pointed out by all three participants, I do consider entire advocate fraternity, for that matter, entire world is facing all the problems due to the pandemic. But I feel it has given a new shape to the concept of advocacy also, because as has been pointed out by Mr. Rizwan and my Mahajan, virtual hearing, that's a new concept which is being introduced now. No doubt, I'm also not so technically acquainted with all these aspects. As you know, our mind doesn't run into it. We all look into the books and the papers, all these things. We are into it only. But at the same time, we should think of this opportunity and try to make. I think in the office, we can attend all the courses. be it in Mangalore, be it in Bangalore, be it in Delhi, maybe by sitting.
I think we lost you.
Of negatives. As you know, the financial crunches developed now, and people are suffering from everything. Even then, with all these negatives, there are some positives. We can try to make use of this positive opportunity. And uh, I believe even in the Delhi Supreme Court also an attempt was made to uh, for purpose of video conference. So video conference, a system which is now sort of introduced, which should be, I am told, there is a set of advocates who are requesting my lordship to think this process can continue to certain, because we cannot argue each and every matter through virtual hearing, but some matters, because the effectiveness in the hearing is quite limited. But in few matters, the court can reserve some time for virtual hearing, so that that process can develop in the future also. And wherever the personal hearing is required, in such circumstances, advocates can go to the court, they can argue the matter. So what I feel is, because of this, we can change the system per se. One thing. Secondly, uh, the we can make use of the timings also, because if you go to the court, you may consume a lot of time, you may waste a lot of time. You can try to minimize it, because as has been pointed out by Rasta and Mahajan also, the time will be fixed. If I have to submit the matter by 11 o'clock to 11:30, that timing should be fixed by the courts. The court masters will fix the timing. So I feel we should try to make use of this. My friend Mr. Rizwan, the financial aspect, as you rightly pointed out, not even 90% according to me, sorry, not even 10%, only 5% people may be getting, the advocates may be getting the briefs. Rest are not getting briefs. And the situation of some of the advocates, it's really pathetic. And I feel, except a few advocates, the rest are not getting the briefs. So what could be the situation? As he pointed out, if this is to continue for another 1 year or 2 years, where do we end up with? What is the situation of the advocate fraternity or any other professionals? So it's a case where we should think. And let me also point out that this in this period of pandemic, because it has lockdowns has started somewhere in March 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. Thereafter, the people, advocates, become jobless. So at one occasion, this has happened even in Mangalore also. The senior advocates joined together and provided financial assistance to many junior advocates. But unfortunately, that is not continued, it's being discontinued thereafter. And I feel the especially the persons sitting in Delhi or Supreme Court, as the case may be, they should make some arrangements for, or they should raise some in issues with the concerned authorities for helping up the poor advocates and junior advocates who have been suffering because of the pandemic. Because everybody is suffering, but what I feel I would like to say is, of course, we are getting some briefs, we can survive, but what is the position, what is the condition of some of the advocates? The newly, some advocates have opened their own offices, and as I pointed, several advocates coming inside. So this helping nature and cooperation amongst financially sound advocates and financially poor advocates, that should continue. That should the financially rich advocates should come forward to help the poor advocates. So there are some balance we can try to make in these pathetic situations also. So that's all I feel.
Okay. Thank you, Advocate Kiralia, for giving all these details. And you said that it is a not in even 90%. According to 95%, advocates are jobless. Only 5% advocates are getting the briefs. And you also said that it is one thing is that it's an opportunity that we should learn, but you said it is very difficult because all the advocates of your age or who has done that, they are habitual of reading the books and the briefs, etc. And you have also mentioned that the senior advocates or those who can afford, they should cooperate and share with the poor advocates or those who are jobless advocates and give them money. And you also said that why not the Supreme Court or the High Court should intervene and see to it that these advocates should be given financial aid. I can just mention here that in our earlier program, where the Honorable former Chief Justice of Supreme Court was present, he mentioned that there is a advocate welfare fund, and in which lots of money is there. So only thing is that the Bar Council of India should either amend their act or try to get it from the Supreme Court and get that funds especially used at this juncture for the welfare of the advocates who are poor or who cannot afford this situation. Now I would like to go to our next panelist. Next guest is Advocate Deepak Jyoti Ghildial. He's Advocate Deepak Jyoti is MSc LLB. He is former Inspector General of Police, Uttarakhand. He is a recipient of President's Medal for Distinguished Service in 2013. He received President's Medal for Meritorious Service in 2001. He is LLB topper and gold medalist of Allahabad University in 1977. He is member of Ethics Commission, Indian Olympic Association. Presently, he is practicing in Supreme Court. Welcome, Deepak Jyoti, Advocate Deepak Jyoti on our show. Advocate Deepak Jyoti, please unmute yourself. Please unmute. Deepak Jyoti, please unmute. Now, Mr. Deepak Jyoti, you have heard what earlier panelists have mentioned, Advocate Mahajan, Advocate Garg, Advocate Rizwan, and Advocate Chidanand. And they all mentioned about the hardship the advocates are facing. Although Advocate Mahajan says this is a good opportunity for the young advocates to gain more knowledge and for senior advocates to concentrate on their health. Advocate Garg mentioned about the economic problems which the advocates are facing, and she says that live streaming of the court proceedings are required to give the confidence to the clients or the litigants. And Advocate Rizwan, according to Advocate Rizwan, even the Chief Justice of India or the several High Court judges, if they are also not that tax heavy, so what will be the conditions of the advocates in remote areas, even in the metros? And Advocate Chidanand has mentioned very clearly that these conditions of the advocates are very bad because of no work. Only 5% advocates are getting the briefs. The rest are not getting any work. So according to him, either the senior advocates or those who can afford should pool the money and give to the jobless or the poor advocates, or the Supreme Court or the High Court should give the directions to see to it that the advocates who are not getting anything right now should be compensated. Now, we would like to know the COVID-19 impact on advocates from Advocate Deepak Jyoti Ghildial, please.
Thank you. Are you getting me loudly?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity of interacting with you. I have heard the advocates before. They are learned experience. They are all brilliant in their job. As you know, that the corona crisis has impacted the society very adversely. It has affected almost everybody in the society. It has affected the administration of justice. It has affected the courts. It has affected advocates, everybody. We have discussed at length how and adversely it has affected us. But at the same time, we have to learn to live with the corona, because as the experts say, Dr. Guleria of AIMS, he was also saying that this is going to stay for some time, and we have to learn to live with corona. So therefore, there is an opportunity for all of us to learn certain things during this crisis hour. The first is to make ourselves technically very sound, to how to operate the video conferencing, to make us technically very savvy. so that we can have access to video conferencing and participate in the administration of justice. As advocates, we are the officers of the court, and it is our bounden duty to help the courts in trying to arrive at the administration of justice. So we have to become technically very, very sound. Number two, at the same time, we must keep ourselves very healthy and robust so that we can not only overcome the difficulties posed by the corona, as also devote most of the time for the purpose for which we are sitting. Thirdly, we also have the time to learn more by reading books, by interacting with others, and we can really add to our knowledge. I am an old timer. I am 65 now. Most of the time I was in the police service, but now I get an opportunity to learn, and I am also practicing at Supreme Court, and here is a great opportunity to learn certain things. I agree with one of my friends, many friends, in fact, that there should be some provision for the financial assistance being given to the lawyers, especially the junior ones. You have rightfully suggested that Bar Council of India must take certain steps to ensure that the financial assistance is given to them. So thank you very much. These are some of the points which I would like to.
Thank you, Advocate Deepak Gidial, for giving your views. And according to you, we should use this opportunity to learn as well as to see our health. And you have said that, yes, financial assistance should be given to the weaker advocates or those who are financially weak. Now I would like to go to our next guest. He is Advocate Deepak Dhingra. Advocate Deepak Dhingra is the proprietor of Law Linkers and Company, New Delhi. He is practicing in Supreme Court and appeared in almost all the high courts in India. He has vast experience in handling arbitration matters, including international arbitrations, and have been involved in many leading arbitration matters within the country and abroad. He also appears in tribunals and commissions. Welcome, Advocate Dhingra, to our show. Please unmute. Yes, Advocate
Thank you, Mr. Goyal. Thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure listening to everybody, especially to the ladies lawyer here and the young ones.
Advocate Dhingra, you have heard what earlier panelists have said. I think I need not to repeat because I have repeated 4 times. So you are.
Yeah, that's right. So I just cherry-picked what Ms. Bani said about the study. That it's time to enhance our knowledge, and other panelists also emphasized upon that. And of course, other panelists also talked about challenges. It has given us challenges, opportunities. You see, I have got a take here. We are professionals. Which is our battlefield? Like doctors have got hospitals, doctors have got diagnostic centers, doctors have got patients. Similarly, our battlefield as a lawyers are courts. Why I say battlefield is not for the purpose of arguing and bashing each other, but basically for getting justice to our clients. Now, when I say getting justice to our clients, they may be the ones who are prosecuting, like the plaintiffs or the petitioners or the complainants, and they also may be the ones who are defending, like maybe an accused, defendants or respondents. Having said that, I emphasize that each client, each deserving client is entitled to justice. Now, sir, having said that, we have got about 697 district courts, about 25 high courts, and of course, we have got Supreme Court at New Delhi. You rightly said that to cater to about 1.3 billion of population, which all may not be litigants, but substantial part of it, we have got about this industry. Now, for this epidemic, which came to us off sudden, we were definitely not prepared. Nobody could imagine in January or let's say December of last year that we'll be stuck up with this. And one day, we'll all be having virtual courts through our laptops, through our smartphones, or through other means possible. And the courts will be physically shut. I must point out here that in India, the high courts work for about 210 days. Lower courts work about 230 or 235 days. Supreme Court also works for about 210 days, excluding the holidays, the Saturdays, Sundays, and of course the festivals and other scheduled holidays and all that. Now, out of 210 days, let's talk of High Court and the Supreme Court. If 90 days, we are almost on 100th day today. Also are holidays, let's say where the courts are physically shut. What happens to the litigant who is looking for justice? As such, in litigation, there's a delay. Our judiciary is overburdened for n number of reasons, because of vacancies, because of population growth, because of economy having grown up and disputes having remained unsettled. Certain measures should have been taken about 20 or 25 years back, which are not taken, like conciliation part of it, emphasizing on arbitration, pre-litigation conciliation, all that, which were not done at that time, which have recently started about 5 years back, but which are yet to gain pace. Now, if out of these 210 days, if 100 days again, the courts are physically shut, and when a litigant gets only 3 to 4 days or 5 days in a year, I'm talking of high courts, where the dates of court jump from February to September and September to March, and then we have got almost about, there was so much of pendency. How do we go back to our clients and tell them that, listen, we cannot get you justice? Now, please appreciate, today the courts are taking only urgent hearings. Normal hearings, regular matters have recently started. Coupled with the fact that lawyers are also sitting in rural areas. They're also district level advocates. They are not, now, please mind you, it's not only the lawyers in the urban areas who are techno savvy. I'm sorry. Many of the lawyers who are sitting in cosmopolitans and metropolitans, they also are not techno savvy. They never use laptop, or they use laptop for different purposes. But now to hold court, address the arguments, it's so difficult for them. And coupled with the fact that many panelists out here specified about the economic reasons, the lawyers are suffering. So my take today is assorted, as learned panelists said, and rightly so, that we firstly have to become techno-savvy. 2, we have to have some body like bar councils or state bar councils or Bar Council of India and our respective associations also, who should come to the rescue of needy lawyers. Now, this is a time undoubtedly to introspect, because this system is going to remain. So make ourselves techno-savvy, because this pandemic, we don't know whether it's over in 2020 or maybe later. And maybe, as I've already said in my earlier webinars too, that we must start parallel virtual hearing system for some part of litigation, which will benefit us in the long run. Every proceeding in a litigation need not be physical. That will help us to save time. It will also help us to save environment. It will also speed up the judicial system. So my take is assorted. I'm very thankful to Mr. Goyal for having invited me and to have heard the learned panelists out here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Advocate Dhingra, for giving your views that it should be assorted, and it should be a mixture of virtual courts as well as the physical court, and so that the litigation can be speed up, as well as the people will be ready, geared up, even if suppose tomorrow any other pandemic will come. Now I would like to go to our Advocate Mahajan again. Advocate Mahajan, do you think it is an opportunity for young and junior advocates? The reason is, as per the WHO guidelines, as per the government's guidelines, those who are 60 plus, that is generally the senior advocates, they advise not to go to the courts. And definitely, after, even as everybody mentioned, that it will go for 1 or 2 years more. But once the intensity will be less, but still they are vulnerable. So this is the right time that the young and junior advocates can go to the courts, learn how to argue, and this is the opportunity for them. What do you say about it? Advocate Mahajan, please.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, I would definitely agree that this pandemic has brought in a series of opportunities for young lawyers. I acknowledge all the points which have been raised by the learned panelists over here, that the young advocates are facing a lot of financial constraints. But I've always felt that one should take quality over quantity in our profession if we want to become a dark horse in this profession. So I would say that this is the time that we should focus on the matters at hand. We should take the lead. We should study our matters more thoroughly. And of course, when the courts open, unfortunately, right now we don't see a definite time when the courts would open. But even when they do, I think it is a very right time for young lawyers to take the lead and take the matters. Even where senior advocates are not available, though I doubt that senior advocates would be restricted to their homes when the courts do open up. Because, of course, senior advocates not only have a very important place in the High Court, they also have an important place for the juniors, because we learn so much by seeing them arguing in the courts themselves. They are our mentors, they are our seniors, and we learn every day from them, their offices. We see them arguing in courts. So they have a very fixed role to play in the legal profession. Plus, I don't think that our senior advocates who are energetic in all their years of life would ever accept sitting at home like that. But as when we talk about the financial constraints that the junior lawyers are suffering from, I would say that it is a very right moment for the bar associations to step in, because they do have welfare funds, they do have benevolence funds for the welfare of the advocates, and I think this is the most opportune time to use those welfare funds. I would give you one example. In Chandigarh, there were certain senior lawyers who, in association with the Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, they organized a moot court competition for young lawyers having 1 to 5 years of experience. And the cash prizes are quite hefty in such competitions, like 50,000 for the first position, 30,000 for the second position. So these are initiatives which I think our senior advocates, the senior members of our bar who are financially sound and secure, and the bar associations should really think about, because they not only solve the problem of inculcating discipline in the younger generation, as Ms. Garg rightly pointed out, but they also ensure that we are kept on our toes, we don't become complacent. Secondly, I think the courts should also expand their functioning a bit more as compared to what they are doing right now. It is feasible for them to hold hearings of certain other genres of cases via video conference. I agree with Mr. Dhingra that video conferencing can be a sustainable mode of appearing in courts even in the longer run. There can be certain cases which can be argued via video conferencing in the interest of the environment and in the interest of public health. That way, junior lawyers can appear. That way, senior lawyers can appear. Another thing that I would like to add, it is also the time for our District Legal Services Authority, State Legal Services Authority, and bar associations to take the lead and train the lawyers who find themselves not to be very techno-savvy, to train them in the basic tricks of operating video conferencing, to provide them the apparatus of video conferencing, to provide them safe spaces which are sanitized, which are safe to use for appearing in courts. So if these public organizations, namely our bar councils, bar associations, and the district and the state legal services authority, they need to take a certain lead in this matter, and we can have major solutions to all the problems which junior lawyers and senior lawyers alike are facing right now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Advocate Mahajan. But only my reservation is, because of the health concern, it is not so easy to see the senior advocates arguing in the court so soon, because the senior advocates 60, 65 plus, as you already mentioned earlier, that your father and your father-in-law are having some problems. So it is not advisably medically that they should go to the court and argue in the court, open court. Yes, virtually, yes, they are welcome to do all arguments and whatnot. Now I would like to ask Advocate Garg. Everybody is talking about challenges, but we want to know from you, what are the challenges lady advocates has to face during COVID time? Because ordinary time, yes, all the lady advocates are working very hard, and as per the figures, although the practicing, those who are arguing in the court are very less in India, mainly they are working in the offices or the corporate houses. But because of the COVID, even the practicing lawyers or the advocates who are working, lady advocates, they have, because they are in the family, and people have reservations with the children and other things. So we would like to know from you, what are the challenges lady advocates has to face during COVID time? Advocate Garg, please.
You are rightly said, Mr. Goyal, that lady female or you're a male, they are actually giving you the equal status. Like, to argue for anything, you need a lawyer. I actually feel that it is necessary that we reboot the existing system and upgrade ourselves to the humbler version, as I feel that the older version will soon become outdated. So it's all about the support and everything. The only thing that, yes, in our country, still it's like that reservations are more for the women when it comes to the family and everything. Because like you have said, that for the children, because mother is the first person the child goes to the mother, right? But if you are having a support from your family, you definitely can do that. That is a major thing for the women lawyer. And if you ask me that what about the lady lawyer, in that same way, even the male advocates are facing more problem because they are having more responsibility for the financial thing. If we talk about that, the women are having more responsibility for the domestic health and all that, but then the male lawyers are having more responsibility for the financial responsibility in their family. So it's all about a parallel thing. We have to make it balanced between both of them. And when it comes to the lawyer, we all belong from the same fraternity. By God's grace, I am actually lucky that I have always got the supportive people around me, colleagues, my profession, family also is also very much supportive. So this is the only thing that, again, I want to stress it, that you have to be, reboot yourself for everything. Prepare yourself mentally for everything, because tough situation never last, but tough people do. So if you're having a good mental state, you can deal with any situation. Thank you.
Tough situation never lasts, but tough people do. And according to Advocate Garg, there is no difference between a lady advocate or a male advocate. After all, once they are arguing or once they are in court, they will be seen on their talent, on their situation, not as a lady or a male. And she also said that, yes, the children's, because the child will always go to the mother, but the male also have a more responsibility for the financial things also. So according to you, there is no difference between a lady or the male advocate. And you said it all depends on the family support, which is, in your case, is there. And I'm sure that other lady advocates are also getting the similar type of family supports. Now, I would like to ask Advocate Rizwan, do you think, Advocate Rizwan, that the clients will be satisfied with the e-court judgments? And what are the challenges advocates have to face to convince them? Like we have discussed earlier also, but we would like to know from you, because so many, if any judgments are coming, then I remember there was a judgment in one of the foreign country where there was a death sentence was given in the initial stage of the COVID. And it was criticized everywhere that how the death sentence has been given on the video call or something like that. Now, we would like to know from you about these challenges, how to satisfy your clients. Advocate Rizwan, please.
No, let me tell you very honestly, the clients, they don't trust the advocates when it comes to the virtual hearing. Seriously, they don't trust. I have done a couple of matters before the Honorable High Court, and when the client asks what is going to be happen, in this case, because we will not be there. If you require some assistant, who will be there? Nobody will be there to assist you. Whether the court will, hear our argument, whether the court will hear your argument as well, because in virtual hearing there will be some glitches. They may not be satisfied from your arguments. So what will happen? Just tell us, and they don't trust us. In fact, that's a actual position. And we can during this COVID time when the work is very less, we cannot ask money also, because whenever we ask, they always say, see, it's a COVID time, we are not able to pay. And that's a very difficult situation facing by us. I have done a couple of matters before the Supreme Court also. The same thing happened there. It's next to impossible nowadays to satisfy the client when it's come to they also want to be part of the hearing, and they want their presence to be in the physical the physical court functioning. That's all.
Actually, Mr.
Okay.
Goel, that's why I have rightly mentioned for the live streaming of the proceedings, so that the client can gain trust on us. Like it's be live streaming, or if it is be transcribed in a proper manner on the website, then the client may show their trust on their lawyers.
And sometimes they also ask whether the order will be uploaded on the website, because we don't know whether there will be any order.
Okay, so according to Advocate Rizwan, it's very, very difficult time and challenging time to convince the clients, because they are not trusting. And the Advocate Garg has added that's why she is vouching for the streaming of the live streaming of the proceedings. So now I would like to go to our next guest, Advocate Chidanand Kedalia. Advocate Chidanand, you have heard what Advocate Rizwan said. But now, when the condition that we are talking of virtual court, you have also said, you know very well, you are from Bangalore. It's not a metro city like Delhi, Mumbai, or Bangalore. No proper internet facilities, frequent power failures in small cities and villages. How the advocates will be able to file the case, argue the case? The case is on, the power is failed. I will tell you the example right now. My power was failed when Advocate Dhingra was giving. So I could not give his assessment properly. I could not hear because power was not there. So the thing is, when this is happening in the small cities, how you are arguing with a high court or any court and the power failed, and it will take, say, 5 minutes or 3 minutes or 10 minutes to come. What is going to happen to that legal judgment? Do you think what we are doing is morally, legally right and binding to the litigant, or it is just to satisfy, as one of the panelists said, that we have to do something, so we have opened the court virtually? Just it is a mockery of law. Please, Advocate Chidanand Kedalia, please. I think his connection is also gone. I can't see him. This is the condition in India today. Unless we will not have the infrastructure proper, you cannot give the proper judgment. You cannot pass any order. And this is not, I don't think that is morally right. Anyways, if he will join, I think he's trying. Yes, Advocate Chidanand, now we can see you. Can you? Yes. Now, yes. Please come. Just make come. Yeah, can come in the center. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can
hear me. So just come in the center. We can't see your face. Please bring your face in the center of the. Please bring the. No, down. Yes, now. Yes, now tell me the answer. Is what I have asked. Again, you have gone to a side. Please come in the center. Come in the center, please.
The same problem is taken place just now. It has happened. See, as everyone said, we have to live with the virus. There may be some technical problems. Every problem will be there, even in the video conferencing. But even the courts and judges are also accommodative. They are accommodating all these practical difficulties, because no doubt there will be frequent power cut, especially in the places or cities like Mangalore, and it will take 2 or 3 minutes. But according to me, even the courts are accommodative to all these practical difficulties. So even in this situation, by facing all these problems, according to me, justice can be done. Justice definitely it can be done. You may wonder, in some of the courts, judges have been requesting us. So sometimes you do one thing, sit in the office, you need not even argue. We'll give our WhatsApp number, we'll give the email. You just prepare the notes, forward us. Let us have a new beginning. That's what the judges were saying. So this is a situation where we should adjust with all sort of difficulties, and you should face it. Because as I said, as everybody said, this is not a problem only to advocates. Every sector is facing the problem. So in this pandemic situation, what best we can do, we should do. So in spite of all the setbacks, maybe from the government side, whatever it may be, or poor network, as the case may be, or lack of technical acquaintance on these aspects, with whatever best possible thing we can do, we should do. So otherwise, as he said, we do not know when this pandemic, this virus will go, whether it will go or our body should create fresh virus, antibodies, so as to live with this virus. So we do not know. So we are virtually in dark. When such is the case, as much as possible, by adjusting circumstances, I think we should go ahead, and we should face the problem, because we are in the problem. We should face the problem as it comes. We have no option. So that's what I feel.
Okay, Advocate Chidanand says that we have to adjust because we have to live with the corona. But one thing is still there. You have to think of the litigant. How you are giving the justice, proper justice. After all, there is this thing that nobody should be prosecuted. Even if one innocent is prosecuted is wrong. So I think justice for the justice, until unless the infrastructures, even if you see you are talking to right now, your voice was cracking. Now, when your voice is not clear, how the judge, if he is listening to you, will be satisfied with your arguments, which might be proper, which might be very technically sound. But if you are talking and if you are quoting some sections and your voice is losing the thing, he may hear something else, so that the judgment can be different. So until unless the government of the day will not create the proper infrastructure, especially the internets and all those things, they should either restrict the virtual hearings only for very urgent matters, but not for all other matters where the arguments are required, whether it's a civil litigations or criminal litigations. When we already have 3.5 crores pending cases as of now, we should wait. Let it be 5 crores. What difference it makes when 3.5 crores people are suffering? Let the 5 crores people will suffer. But no wrong judgment should be delivered, because we have to do it. We have to live. I think this is my personal opinion, but I'm sure that there is a food of thought. You all should think that no wrong judgment should be given, order should be passed. Okay. Now I would like to go to Advocate Deepak Gidiyal. Advocate Deepak Gidiyal, you have heard everybody. We all are talking about advocates. Yes, this is the subject today. But you should understand, this is not one advocate. One advocate is associated with many people. The clerks, which are working with you, the typist, they all are working. Now everything is standstill. Now only virtual courts are there where the advocate is just filing the case. Our earlier panelists talked about the welfare of an advocate, the money to be paid. The advocates have committed suicide. What about the typist? What about the clerks? Are there advocates? Because if they are not earning, how they will be able to give the money to the clerks and the typist? Yes, there is a advocate welfare fund, which might be used for the advocates. But what is going to happen to all those who are also depending directly on advocates or the judicial work? Advocate Deepak Gidiyal, please. Please unmute. Please unmute. Advocate Deepak Gidiyal, please unmute yourself. No, it's not. We have to live with Corona. We have to learn the technology also. Please unmute. No, not yet. Okay, I will go to Advocate Deepak Dhingra then. In case if Advocate Deepak Gidiyal is taking time, you just unmute and then we will come back to you. Advocate Deepak Dhingra, now, do you think now senior advocates will be able to do more work because of virtual courts? Because I will tell you, the senior advocates either flying one place to another place, going to attend to Delhi or Bombay or Calcutta or Chennai. Now they will be concentrating, sitting in their office. They will be attending all the cases. So they can do more work in this present scenario than pre-COVID area. Advocate Dhingra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Goel, for asking this question. But before I answer you, I just need 1 minute's time to explain. You see, every system, whichever we are a developing nation, we are still to develop a developed nation. We have, you see, every system, whenever it is introduced, it has got a teething problems. Now, I will take you back to 1995-96, when for the first time we had pagers. At that time, pager was costing about 22,000 or 25,000, and we used to give a message, and then person used to call back or whatever. At that time, we never used to have a mobile phone. Then all of a sudden, pagers became redundant, and the pager used to come free with 5 kgs of sweets because we had mobile phones. Then mobile phones also started to have 35,000, 40,000, 28 rupees a call a minute, and all that kind of thing happened. Today we have got 7 paisa or 10 paisa or maybe 30 paisa of calls on mobile. So everybody became techno-savvy as far as the pages were concerned, then became techno-savvy as far as mobiles are concerned. And today we have got smartphones, where we have got about 2,000 of more applications, and everybody's on Twitter, everybody's on Facebook, everybody's so closely connected. Why I'm saying this is, because when you have got a system, there has to be a teething problem in the system. Now, every panelist here, including you as a host, emphasized about the problem. There's no electricity. People don't have electric connection. But please mind you, in case the virtual hearing becomes a part of the system, which I'm sure will become, and it should become, because we can have a parallel judicial system running through virtual courts, then a parallel encounter system running in this country. People should have faith in judiciary. Why they should have faith in judiciary? And why will they have faith in judiciaries if we are able to get them justice quickly? So please mind you, as far as infrastructure is concerned, if the government develops it, undoubtedly internet connection will not be a problem all over the country, in the district level and panchayat level as well. After all, phone connections are there. People were using pagers. People are using mobiles at the same level. So they have got connectivity. Wi-Fi should also will come up. Then we can have, as far as electricity is concerned, as far as this Wi-Fi connection is concerned, we can have boosters also, which are available in the market. Of course, which will take some time for the offices to have it fully equipped. Then, as far as electricity is concerned, we can have undoubtedly generators and power backups, so that at least this part of a laptop or this connection can immediately shift over to a system where the power backup is there. Now, having said that, I also must point out one thing, that as Ms. Garg probably pointed out, that also there should be a live streaming. Now, I have got a reservation today on live streaming. Why? Litigants they don't know how to behave. Even I'm so sorry, even lawyers don't know how to behave. There have been instances where lawyers were found lying on a bed and arguing a matter. One lawyer was found wearing a banyan or some sort of these clothes. While a simple thing is, when you can go fully dressed up or nicely dressed up to the court in the court robe, why can't you address a judge sitting properly and addressing it? So live streaming come provided litigants become, because you never know, a litigant starts speaking, the opponent starts speaking, they start to abuse each other. How will judge behave? So system will slowly come, whereby the litigants will become a party, but they will have a system where they can be muted. They will only be allowed to speak as they are required. As also there will be some system where the judge can mute and unmute them. So please mind you, this slowly this process will take place. Now I'll come down to your question, sir. As far as senior advocates are concerned, and I also must point out one thing. This system one day, this quality of judgment will not be an issue. Because please mind you, let's take it that all 5 lawyers are arguing to Mr. Justice Goyal here. But tell me, what's the problem? You mean to say that in case I am arguing with you in person, your accessibility or judgment will differ from the one which will come up after this webinar? No, it will not. I'm addressing you properly. Everybody addresses properly. We have got our books with us. So it's not a question of quality of judgments will come. But slowly, yes, initially it may be. Like yesterday it happened that one person moves an application and disappears, his phone is switched off. The judge was laughing at us, at the system, that listen, he was the one who moved an urgent application and he is the one who has disappeared. Now the matter has gone to September. But slowly the streaming will be done, where the offices of lawyers will be well equipped. Slowly the internet connection will reach. And here the Bar Council of India, the respective bar associations, the Honorable Supreme Court, respective Chief Justice of the Honorable High Courts have to take a call and direct the state governments to the central government to improve the infrastructure in case we have to have a virtual courts. So as far as streamlining is concerned, undoubtedly there can be a system where the clients can and will start behaving. So as far as senior advocates will be able to do more work. Sir, today, senior, junior, you see, when only urgent matters have been taken up, so a litigant can afford a senior advocate. Let's say I have got 2 sort of seniors. One is senior by designation, the other is senior by age. I'm talking of both. Let's take it senior by designation or senior by age. Today, the lawyers, a client says he has got urgent hearing, which is a petition of, because urgency can be described in 2 pages also. We don't need to write 200 pages on it. When a judge is given that brief electronically, he reads it. He understands what the urgency is. At these times, he doesn't insist for further evidence. He can pass certain interim orders. For that reason, senior counsel may not be required today because litigant cannot afford it. His pocket is slightly squeezed today. He's having his own financial problems. Above all, he faces a situation where there is an immediate urgent buyer which is required. So he may do away with a senior advocate senior advocate undoubtedly will be charging because of his age, because of his designation, because of experience, and for other reasons. So today, a senior advocate may not do it, may not be earning that kind of money which they were earlier earning. Undoubtedly, I say with all due respect to the bar members. But slowly and slowly, we can have this system. Why not? If let's say I'm charging X rupees, tomorrow I may not be charging X rupees, but please mind you, I'm also not traveling from here to Hyderabad, to Mumbai, to Lucknow, to Jaipur, to other places. I can have 50% or 70% of the money sitting back home. I can rather concentrate on Ms. Bani and Ms. Rachita, and of course other panelists said that we can have a quality work there. Because now I've got time to work in my office, to study the brief, to study law. Instead of rushing from one court to another court, taking flights, taking cabs, taking, all that kind of thing. I can concentrate here. There's absolutely no. So please give system a little time, a little breathing space. Let's have our own breathers also, in fact. Keep safe, and slowly we can develop a system where virtual courts can run within judiciary parallel to judicial system. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Advocate Dhingra. Let's give them breathing time to the system. And you have mentioned that it is not that we cannot do the virtual courts, and you have convincingly, because the advocate work is to convince the others, you have convincingly said that virtual courts, the judges can understand what is happening, what's the urgency, and you have also mentioned that at this time, whether it is senior or junior, the question is whether the work is there or not. So the work, whether it's senior or junior, the work has gone down drastically. So, and you have also mentioned that the live streaming thing can be started. Only thing is that the clients and the advocates should behave. As if I'm not wrong, somewhere there was an order passed by the Honorable Supreme Court in May that the advocates who are appearing on virtual court should not wear the gown or the coat, but they can wear the white shirt or the white salwar kameez or white sari to appear. I don't know whether this is correct or not.
That is correct. No, that is correct. But here lawyers appear in t-shirts. They are sitting there. Their lawyer is sitting having a sip of coffee and somewhere in the garden and arguing a matter. Now, this is not proper. I'm so sorry. You have to give due respect to a judicial judge. And please appreciate. Unless you're not in proper attire, you cannot behave like an advocate also. So and this will come. See, maturity will come with advocacy. It's not that the advocates who are doing this will not mature up. They will mature up. Give some breathing space to system. You see, this system is hardly about 3 months old. Please mind you, not even 3 months. This COVID started in country about 4 months back, and we started virtual hearing almost about 1.5 to 2 months back, and that was for extreme matters today, extreme urgent matters today. Today, regular courts are there, regular hearing is there, but please give system some breathing space. It will come back. It will really come very nicely.
Okay. I'm sure that someone can move about the contempt of court if they are not properly attired or wearing.
But then, sir,
one should give full respect to the judges and the court. After all, this is the attire which has been fixed and agreed by everyone, and they should go. It is like this, that a surgeon is going in the operation theater without proper attire. I think this is the same thing when an advocate is arguing in front of the judge, he should have the proper attire. Now,
just one moment. If a judge is, let's say a judge is sitting in kurta pajama, or let's say in t-shirt and a short, and supposedly he's hearing a matter, will advocate like it? No, he will definitely not like it. And so let's behave ourselves.
I agree with you, but I think I read somewhere that not in India, in foreign country, one judge was found sitting in shorts, and anyway.
He apologized, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, now I would like to go to Advocate Deepak Hedial again. I am sure now he has done the unmuted. Advocate Deepak Hedial, now I would like to know from you what I have asked, that the advocates are, many people are depending on advocates, whether it's the clerks or even the typists. Even earlier of our media conference, somebody pointed out even the tea stall fellows who are selling the teas in the courts, or many people, typists, the Xerox machines, so many people. Now they all are totally in very bad shape. So when we are talking about the advocate welfare fund, are you also thinking or you are planning to have any funds for those persons? Till now, for last so many years, they are only depending on the advocate fraternity. Advocate Deepak Ghidyal, please.
Yes. I would like to say that it is the duty of advocates to ensure the welfare of the persons helping them, whether it's clerks or a typist or whoever, a technician helping. And the Bar Council can also take care of this. And I think as the situation improves, I think something will be done regarding them. Now, the second part is regarding justice. Something is said about justice, that justice should not only be done, but manifestly and undoubtedly appear to be done. So, if the advocates are not satisfied with the judgment, they can go for a review. They can go for a review for this. They have a duty towards the client to ensure that the justice is done. Everybody whoever is engaged in the task of administration of justice must ensure that justice is not only done, but manifestly and undoubtedly appear to be done. So I think this should be done. Of course, circumstances are difficult, and as situation will improve, I think that the system will also improve. And I think the instances of those cases where you feel that justice has not been done will be less.
Okay. Thank you, Advocate. Yes. You want to say something? Okay. Thank you, Thank you, Advocate Deepak Ghidyal, for giving your views. According to you, the advocates and the Bar Council should also support those who are depending on advocates. But the situation today, as our earlier panelist says, that 95% are jobless advocates. Now, if they are not having their own revenue, how they will be able to support those? So I think the government should come and they must give some stimulus package even to those, like when they are giving to everyone, whether it's MSMEs and other sectors, the farmers. I think they should also consider to give such type of some packages to the legal fraternity, especially to those who are on not so well-to-do and whose practice is not that much, and who are depending on this all the advocates or the judiciary. Now, I would, as our last round is there, you have to be a bit brief because the paucity of time. I would like to start with Ms. Advocate Mahajan. Your suggestions to government and advice to public.
Thank you, sir. So my advice to the public and to the public authorities would be that we have a lot of time on our hands because of this pandemic, and we also have a lot of cases to decide. So I think we should take this as an opportunity to reduce the pendency in the courts. We can list those matters which have been pending for several years, and sometimes there are simple matters which have been pending for several years, which is one or the other reason. Most opportune time to list such cases, to get young lawyers or senior lawyers alike to argue those cases and dispose of the cases which can be disposed of. So this is one way of utilizing our time very efficiently at this time and also reducing pendency at the same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Advocate Mahajan, for giving your such important advice. Now, Advocate Garg, your advice, your suggestions to the government or the higher courts, or advice to the public?
Just be patient. That's the only thing. And correctly, Mr. Dhingra has said that we have to give some time. So just be patient. Whatever comes, you just have to deal with it smartly and with patience, and just try to be techno savvy. And we have to rely for the timing, unless and until that the courts cannot get open, we have to rely on the technology, even with all these glitches. So we should think about how we can cope up with these glitches and work further. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Advocate Garg. We have to be patient, although in lighter vein, we do not want to be patient. We have to be patient. Now, Advocate Rizwan, your suggestion to the government, advice to public.
My suggestion to the higher judiciary only: start physical functioning of the court with with utmost precaution. They are only hearing urgent matters through video conferencing. This will not help the young advocates at the bar. This will not help the clients also. This will not help those persons who are associated with the advocates, be it clerk, be it or any other person. So start physical functioning with the utmost precaution.
Okay, thank you, Advocate Rizwan. According to you, we should start physical functioning. Now.
So as to look after the interest of some needy advocates who are in their need of financial support. So some process should be taken. Somebody should take that effect.
Okay, thank you, Advocate Chidanand, for giving the suggestions. First is that we must, the client should trust the advocate, and secondly, some financial assistance. So no one should commit suicide. Yes, no one should commit suicide, whether it is a farmer, whether it's an advocate or any other. After all, yes, suicide is suicide, and we all, the civil society, it's our responsibility as well as the government responsibility. Now, Advocate Deepak Gidalia, what are your suggestions to the government and advice to public?
Yeah, I agree with my friends, and I hope the government and the Bar Council will come forward to help assist the supporting staff with us and to help them.
Okay, thank you. Yes, according to you, they should come and help the government and the association
Bar Council.
To the Bar Council. Thank you very much for your views. Now, suggestions. Now, Advocate Deepak Dhingra, the last word to you.
Well, I'll be very quick, sir. Trust the virtual system. This is for the litigants and to the lawyers and to the bar members. Trust the virtual system. Give time to it to breathe. Don't often it post-COVID, and make mandatory some part of the proceedings, whether it's civil or criminal. As far as the bar councils are concerned, well, they are there to help the needy and the deserving advocates who are not able to sustain themselves. And I would request all the Chief Justices and of course the Honorable Chief Justice of India to really do something about this part, so that lawyers don't really shift from the legal profession and go back to their hometowns and their villages or some other place and abandon this profession. That's it. Trust the system, please. It will work out one day.
Thank you, Advocate Dhingra, for saying trust the system. Otherwise, the advocates will go back to their hometown and do something else, which you don't want that advocates, although we have a paucity of advocates. So today you have seen how the advocates have been impacted by the COVID-19. And they are trying their best, although they have to learn many things because of the COVID, but still they are coping up. Only thing is that they are also facing lots of hardship. Only one thing which is very common among all the panelists is that we should trust, the client should trust on the lawyer, and lawyer should also trust the virtual courts. And the court should also try to see to it. One of the panelists has raised that they should try to start the physical courts wherever it is possible with a social distancing and all the norms or the guidelines issued by the government. And you have also seen that advocates are ready to help anyone. But the civil society should also try to think and try not to have more litigations during at least this period, so that although there is another thing that advocates will feel that we are asking not to have more litigation, so they will not get more litigations. But yes, only go to the advocates when it is very, very urgent. And so then they can deliver the justice in a proper way. So today you have seen about the impact on advocate, the COVID-19 impacts on advocates, which was brought live to you by V4 News, News Karnataka, Global TV, Malnadu TV, News Gaon Se, as well as it was live on Facebook and YouTube. And tomorrow we are again have a very important subject, although it has nothing to do with COVID. It is our subject is terror funding, threat for the national security, which has come recently. You might have all heard it, or you might have read in the newspaper. Something has happened recently. So we are going to discuss that point, the terror funding, threat for the national security. And the guest is our Dr. C.V. Anand Bose, IAS, one-man expert commission for the labor, who was also the former principal secretary to the Chief Minister of Kerala, because it has happened at the Kerala recently. So we will be sharing his experience and his knowledge about this. So please tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. sharp. Thank you very much for viewing us. Thank you, Advocate Mahajan. Thank you, Advocate Garg. Thank you, Advocate Chidanand. Thank you, Advocate Rizwan. Thank you, Advocate Deepak, and thank you, Advocate Deepak Dhingra, for joining us and making this a very great success. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.